Welcome back to narsicloud.com. In our last video, we have talked about some of the CSS basics, such as margin and padding, and what does it look like applying CSS to HTML. So in today's video, we're gonna talk through one of the scenarios. We take a sample HTML page and see what are the styles that we can apply, so that it looks a little prettier than what it is right now. So if you look at on the right side, this is our HTML sample page, and it doesn't have any styles applied yet. So that's why you see all these sections clubbed together, and it looks really weird, right? So what it's gonna look like after applying styles, so let's set some goal so that can be time confined. So let's make sure see what we can do to bring this text like this, right, into different sections, apply some fonts and apply some margins, background colors, padding, etc., right? So let's dive into this. So before you start anything, anytime with the CSS, make sure that you reset all the margin padding of the page. So if I remove this, see what happens. See, it got default padding and margin. So the problem with that is, if you don't reset that, sometimes you need to calculate those default paddings as well, because when you apply padding to some of the elements, that will be added to that default padding, so it gets really confused at some point. So it's better to reset the whole page, so that you know what you're doing and you have more control on that. Okay, so let's do that. So now we want to have this narsicloud on the top, right? That's the first section. So let's use some. So before you do that, basically, if you look at this page, see it has a little bit of margin around the whole content. So to get that, put all of these contents into a div. So what I do there is, so when you put that into div, you will get more control and for the overall content, and you can apply styles easily to that div, so that it applies to the whole content, So let's define a main class here. So if I give margin to rem, so I will explain what rem means in the upcoming videos. That's basically a root element, the font size of root element. So I'll go more depth into that in the upcoming videos. Okay, for now just consider this one of the units. Okay, so margin I gave to rem, and how do you apply that CSS to this div? So you give the class name, then main. So I do here, I got margin. So here you know what margin is, right? So margin, I'll explain that at the end of this video. But as you see here, as I apply margin, it applied the to rem around this content. Okay, so now we need to separate this into 3 sections, right? So let's give this heading narsicloud, and if you refresh that, I got narsicloud here, and you got this 3 different sections. Okay, so you give section differently for each text. So as I apply sections, you will get you'll see them, they're separating, right? So that's the whole point of this section, and you do that here as well. You see here it got separated here, and the third one, and here. Okay, right? So as you see here, these sections have got separated, but even though they are separated, you don't see them the space between those different sections, right? So that's where you're gonna apply styles to that. So what we can do is, for each section, how about adding padding to it, okay, or margin top. So if we define section here, let's say margin top, and let's say to rem. If you apply section there, let's apply class here. I mean, this can be done in different ways, but right now I'm just applying class for every section. Section here, let's see what happens here. You see, I gave margin top to the section, right? So that's why it got this space. So if I apply this class here again for this second section, you see there's a space between that. So that's one way that you can get the space at the margin level. So you got different page. So what happened really here is, this is one section. Assume that there is a box around that, right? When you say margin top, it's applying some space at the top of this section. So that's why you got this space. And if you want to change the font to be italic, for example, right? Font family cursive, and it's gonna change that to cursive, right? And to get to, so we need to have some space between the footer, and so let's divide that into a different section, which is called footer, and here. So still you won't see the space, but it got a different section. Now you can apply rules to that, right? So first of all, let's make this align center. Here, footer. So now it got to the center, right? You can apply different class here to get the space. So what we can do is, you can still apply margin top and to rem. See, we got space on top of that. So let me minimize this video. So here we're almost there, right? We applied we changed that to different sections, and we applied margin top to each section to get some space between each section, and we applied same for footer as well. So now how could we apply background color to this narsicloud? So narsicloud, it's in main class. So basically there is a background color. You can apply, for example, if you say orange, it's going to get the whole orange. So you're applying for div, so sorry, so we should apply this for where is that, for h1 title. So let's give title, and let's apply that, and here h1 class title. So if apply, so we applied title to this narsicloud, but in the page we got some gradient colors, right? Two colors merging into each other, and we change this narsicloud to white, right? So how could we get that? So there is a function called linear gradient. So if you see linear gradient CSS here, let's take one of this example. So linear gradient is a function provided in CSS, and by the way, developer Mozilla, it's one of the places that you can refer to all CSS and any web development stuff. That is the reference. They are the ones who maintain that standards. So for the title, you can give this. If we change that, then linear gradient, background color, and here if change this to background, and I got that, right? So almost there. Now let's change this color to white. Color to white, and we change that, got that, and put that into center. All right, yep, that's all it is. So if you look at the concepts, so right now we know how to apply padding, how to apply margin. So here we did not really apply padding, but we applied margin top. Margin top gives space around the content, and if I were to apply padding, for example, for narsicloud, let's say that the title, I'm gonna add padding to rem. You see, it's gonna add space within the content. So within the box you would see the space. See, the space is increased. It's not around the content, it's within the content, which is called padding, you know. So let's change it to 1 rem, and got that. So, and coming to how we apply classes. So you define classes in the style section. So this could be a different CSS file, but for this tutorial purposes I'm gonna follow the same approach. Define some sample HTML, define CSS here itself, you know. And the linear gradient is a function where which would combine these colors together, and you'll get this beautiful merging, one color running into other. So that's a gradient actually. Text align center, you know that. So you go through this tutorial again and see what exactly is done, and when you're making changes, what's really changing on the page, so that you understand the concept, right? So yeah, that's all for today, guys. So we'll see, we'll continue this concept in the next video. We'll take up some other scenario and go over some of the CSS concepts. And if you like this video, please click on like button, and please do subscribe, and I will continue to make these tutorials on various technologies, and please provide your comments. And if you're looking specifically for some of the topics, please do mention. I'll be happy to make videos on those topics as well. Okay, see you guys, thank you.